Once you log into your account, you can create a new site. You can start from scratch, or you can choose one of many Webflow templates. Let's use a free template. You can choose any template that you like, but I want to start with a store starter template. It's a perfect template for a simple e-commerce store. You can preview your template before you start using it. Now, create your project. Webflow uses three modes: the designer mode, where it took us by default, editor mode, which we will explore later, and the site preview. So we are in the designer mode. This is where you design your website. Create the layouts, choose your typography, images, colors, and so on. The biggest central part is the canvas. The left section is the Tools panel, and the right section includes the Styling panel and Settings. Above the canvas, you will see different screen sizes that will help you ensure responsive design. By default, we are in the desktop screen view. This is the standard tablet view. This is standard mobile landscape, and this is mobile portrait. You can also drag the canvas to the side to check various sizes in between. It will even tell you what specific devices are used at each dimension. Now, let's take a look at the Tools panel. First of all, we have elements. All the elements follow the box model. We have a section, which visually separates a page into large chunks stretching from the left to the right border of the page. This is a section, and this is another section, and one more section. A container helps us organize content within a section. Here is a container. Here's another container. We can also use a grid layout. We can add rows and columns in the grid. The basic elements include button, list, link. We also have typography elements like heading and paragraph. We have several e-commerce elements, such as a shopping cart and PayPal integration. We have media, from which we can add images and video. We can create a form using several form elements and other useful elements. Now, let's look at the symbols. A symbol is a group of reusable content. The best examples are a navigation bar and a footer. You will see them almost on any website. Typically, every page should have the same navigation bar and the same footer. You don't want to create your navigation bar over and over again for every page. Instead, you can create it once, save it as a symbol, and add that symbol to every other page. The best thing is that if you need to make a change, you just change it once, and it automatically applies to all the other pages. In this template, we already have three symbols. Footer, which has 11 instances, meaning that it shows on 11 pages. Newsletter, this is the newsletter, and the navigation bar. This is the navigator. It shows the hierarchy of your elements on the page. And here are all your pages. This is the CMS collection. CMS stands for Content Management System. In Webflow, CMS collections are typically used for blog posts. This part is for the e-commerce components. The setup guide, your products, product categories. If you had any discounts going, they would be here as well. And the orders will be in this section too, once you start having orders. These are your assets, your media library, and the settings. Now, let's take a look at the styling panel. To style an element on your canvas, you need to select it and then go to Styles. Here you can change the element's font, size, color, spacing, add shadows, borders, and so much more. If it's an image, you can replace it with another image and set up its parameters. Many elements on the canvas use predefined styles. They are called classes. For example, this element uses the heading jumbo class. This means that every other element with this class assigned will have the same formatting style. Let's go to another page. The title of this page also has the heading jumbo class assigned. Now, let's go ahead and change the size. If we go back to the home page, we will see that the change affected this heading too, because it was assigned the same class. We can create another heading by dragging it from the Tools panel. Right now, it has no class assigned to it, but if we select Heading Jumbo, we can just type Heading Jumbo to find it. The class will now affect this heading too. We can also create our own classes. For example, let's remove the Heading Jumbo from this element and create a new class, Heading Fancy. Let's play with different formatting options. We'll change the font, the size, the color, and add some shading. Now we can reuse this class. The styling panel has so many different options. It will probably take you several hours to explore them all, but I recommend that you keep your first project simple and only use the components that make sense to you. All this time, we've been in the designer mode. There's also the preview mode, to which you can switch anytime to see what your site looks like so far. Just click this preview toggle. To go back to designer, click the toggle again. Now let's look at the third mode, the editor mode. To switch to the editor, you will first need to publish your site. Click on Publish and select your publishing option. In the free plan, you can only publish to the Webflow domain. But if you have one of the subscription plans, you can publish to your custom domain. So let's go ahead and publish this site. Now I'll click on the top left corner to switch to editor. Unlike designer, editor will not let you change your layout, images, buttons, or formatting styles. All you can do is edit the content itself. Editor is especially useful when you have collaborators working on your site. You may want to keep the exclusive privilege of making fundamental changes on your site, such as formatting styles and layouts, but your collaborators can help you maintain your site by updating the content. Editor has your content organized into these nice tabs. First, you have pages. You can select any page that you'd like to edit. You can view the orders, which we don't have yet, but we should start having them as soon as we launch the site. The e-commerce tab will let you and your collaborators edit your products and create new products, as well as product categories. The Collections tab will include all your blog posts. From here, you can update your blog posts and create new ones. Once the changes are made, click Publish. And you can go to live site at any time. Not all content has to be editable in the editor. You can decide which elements you don't want your collaborators to be able to change. To do that, go back to Designer. Now it's in the left bottom corner. Now find the element that you don't want to be editable in the editor. Go to the Settings and uncheck this checkbox under the Editor Settings. Now, if you go to Editor, you will not be able to edit this element. You can only edit it in the Designer mode. I have shown you all the major components of Webflow. In part 3 of this course, we will customize this e-commerce template to create our own websites. Stay tuned.